Welcome to English Podcasts. Relax and enjoy your listening practice.
A few years ago, it felt like every conversation about healthy eating turned into a debate. Some people were convinced that carbohydrates were the problem, while others argued that fat was the real enemy. And honestly, if you listen to enough experts, you could end up feeling completely confused about what was actually good for your heart. Recently, I came across a fascinating study that followed nearly 200,000 people in the United States for more than 30 years. And what the researchers found was surprisingly simple. The biggest factor for heart health was not whether people followed a low-carb diet or a low-fat diet. It was the quality of the food they were eating. The researchers found that people who ate diets rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, legumes, and healthy fats tended to have a lower risk of coronary heart disease. Their blood tests also showed healthier markers, including higher levels of so-called good cholesterol and lower levels of inflammation. On the other hand, people whose diets relied heavily on refined carbohydrates, processed foods, and large amounts of animal fats and proteins faced a greater risk of heart problems. What really stood out to me is how this changes the conversation. For years, many of us have been focused on what we should remove from our plates. Cut the carbs, cut the fat, avoid this, avoid that. But this research suggests that the more important question might be, what are we adding? Are we eating foods that are nourishing, minimally processed, and rich in nutrients? And, there is something reassuring about that idea. It feels less restrictive and more practical. Instead of obsessing over numbers and labels, we can focus on building meals around foods that have consistently been linked to better health. It is not about finding the perfect diet. It is about making better choices more often. I think the real lesson here is that health is rarely determined by a single nutrient. Our bodies respond to patterns, habits, and everyday decisions that add up over time. So whether someone prefers a lower carb approach or a lower fat one, the evidence suggests that the foundation matters most. And maybe that is worth remembering the next time we hear another diet trend promising a simple answer to a complicated question. Sometimes the most powerful changes are also the most ordinary. A little more real food, a little less processed food, and a long-term view of what it means to take care of ourselves.